A Tucson couple who wanted nothing more than to be parents, two beautiful children, and 3 decades later, the family says they've uncovered a shocking secret about the Tucson doctor who they trusted to give them a family.
Peter Murillo has some startling details in this News 4 Tucson investigation.
It was here at Tucson Medical Center where Dr. James Blute III was the chief of obstetrics over 3 decades ago. It was also here where he delivered dozens of Tucson children whose mothers were helped through artificial insemination. But one of those moms says when it came to her 2 kids, he did more than just deliver them. In 1983, Deborah Gildnet gave birth to a little boy at Tucson Medical Center. In 1985, another baby, a little girl. Deborah and her husband Phil Salgado couldn't be happier. You see, the couple desperately wanted children, but were unable to conceive on their own. Deborah says her OB/GYN, Dr. Blute, suggested artificial insemination, and Deborah and Phil agreed with one request. They wanted the donor to be Hispanic, like Phil. Deborah says Dr. Blute said he found them a donor and inseminated her on 3 occasions, producing 2 children, Kristen and Aaron. Fast forward to last Christmas, when Kristen, now married with a child of her own, bought an over-the-counter DNA kit.
I just wanted to see, where I came from.
Kristen didn't know she was the product of artificial insemination prior to the test, but she got more than she bargained for.
That was 0% Hispanic.
Kristen says the DNA test not only revealed she wasn't Hispanic, but that her father wasn't Phil Salgado. The test results showed she was the daughter of a man named James Blute, the doctor who delivered her. But how could that be? As her dad had passed away, Kristen took her questions to her mom.
Blute, Blute, Blute. And when my mom explained it to me, I looked on my birth certificate and there was his name, James F. Blute III.
Deborah was also mortified at the news. Her son also took a DNA test, a test that showed Blute, seen here, delivering him, is his biological dad.
It's humiliating. It's just humiliating.
He used his own sperm.
Dave Sethi is the Tucson attorney representing both Deborah and Kristen, who are now suing Dr. James Blute III and TMC.
It's a shameful betrayal of a doctor-patient relationship.
Kristen is angry. Not only has she had to deal with the truth about her biological father, she's told the News 4 Tucson investigators that she has learned there are more children out there who say their moms were artificially inseminated by Blute.
7 half-siblings so far, and those are the ones that have done the DNA test.
She says all of them received results from DNA tests showing that James Blute is their father too. We went searching for James Blute III with a lot of questions. We know his offices were once in this building. In fact, I interviewed him in these very offices when he was the chief of OB/GYN services at TMC, a position he held for over 20 years. A search online shows he left Tucson in 2004. He's still licensed to practice medicine in Arizona, New York, and Pennsylvania. So what's he doing now? According to Blute's LinkedIn account, he states he was the medical director and chair of the Clinical Quality of Care for United Healthcare in Syracuse, New York. In an email to the News 4 Tucson investigators, a spokesperson wrote, Dr. James Blute is no longer employed with United Healthcare. His role during his employment with us was purely administrative and did not involve patient care. We found a phone number for Blute. This is Lupita Murillo with Channel 4, and I would like to talk to you about a civil lawsuit that's been filed against you here in Pima County. No answer and no callback. We also reached out to his attorney here in Tucson several times, but also haven't heard back.
He needs to lose his license.
He needs to be embarrassed.
He shouldn't be, he certainly humiliated us.
Dave Sethi agrees and alerted the Arizona Medical Board, sending them a copy of the civil lawsuit. He received this response. Thank you for the notification of a lawsuit being filed. Upon review, no further action will be taken. Please note, the board requires notification once a settlement has been paid on the physician behalf. The existence of a lawsuit being filed does not have to be reported. We will file this notification for tracking purposes only. We also reached out to TMC, who is also named in the lawsuit. A hospital spokesperson said they don't comment on pending litigation. In an email, they would only confirm Dr. James Blute III was not an employee at TMC, rather a member of TMC's independent medical staff. Dr. Blute was last part of our medical staff in 2000.
I think he needs to be held criminally responsible.
I do too.
I feel like my mom was completely and sexually violated.
The News 4 Tucson investigators have learned that what Blute is accused of is not a crime in the state of Arizona, which is why Sethi has filed a civil lawsuit in this case. We have also learned that a similar lawsuit has been filed in Pima County against Blute. We will continue to follow this shocking story as it develops. From Tucson Medical Center, investigating for you, Lupita Murillo, News 4 Tucson.
And as we told you, James Blute III worked as a doctor in Tucson for many years. He's had 2 marriages and 1 divorce. From his first marriage, 2 sons. When they learned of the allegations against their father, their attorney reached out to News 4 Tucson, giving us this statement. It says, quote, "I represent the estranged biological children of Dr. James Blute from a previous marriage. My clients have had no meaningful contact with Dr. Blute in approximately 30 years since he and their mother were divorced. They have just become aware of the appalling allegations being made against Dr. Blute. They want to express their support for all of the victims who have been impacted by Dr. Blute's alleged actions. They've also asked that the media please respect their privacy at this time."